right. So this is 2023, right? So let's begin. Number 1, under slavery, Caribbean society was characterized by
Bathing boy.
rigid separation of classes. That's fine. Which of the following countries is not a part of the Greater Sure, the Bahamas. 3, what section of the slave trade does the Middle Passage refer to? That would be...
Dog.
Alright, so let me let in this person. Alright, which of the following best describes the near extinction of genocide? Alright, so one most significant achievement of adult suffrage in the Caribbean society, this would be political enfranchisement, right? That repeated. The term manumission refers to what?
C.
Wonderful. Which of the following festivals is celebrated in Toronto?
Caribana.
Alright. Which of the following indigenous groups settled in Central America in the pre-Columbian times?
Maya.
The Maya. Wonderful. You know that people still speak Maya till this day. That's interesting. Alright. Let's look at this. The Caribbean country whose population is most likely depicted in the pie chart is
Guyana.
Alright. So that there.
Fancy. What was 10?
We don't do 10 yet? One of the arguments made for insularity in the Caribbean is C. It's a repeat.
C.
Wonderful. Right, and this is a repeat also. Let me let in this person. Alright. So let's move on with our lives. Alright. And also Caribbean, so it was a bit difficult. Alright, Caribbean families in which the mother is the center of the household is referred to as
matriarchal. C.
Matrifocal.
Sir, isn't it matrifocal?
Yeah, not matriarchal. If the mother is the leader or the head of the household, therefore it's matriarchal.
Sir, isn't wait, wasn't matrifocal like where they live at the residence of the mother?
That's not the only thing that constitutes matrifocal family.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, I don't want you to just take it as that is it, But can anybody explain to me the difference between matriarchal and matrifocal, please? What's the difference? So we can get the clear understanding. I don't want anybody to take anything as gospel. Nobody? Matriarchal versus matrilineal versus matrifocal. Well, I know that you guys went to the Caribbean Studies classes. Go ahead.
Matrifocal is where the family resides at the mother's house, while matriarchal is when the mother is she has the authority in the household.
Wait, question. Are you describing matrilocal or matrifocal?
Matrifocal.
Okay.
No, I just described matriarchal a while ago. Okay. Matrifocal is where they reside at the female's household.
Matriarchal, just generally a female is takes the head role or something. Just generally, if any.
Matrifocal is saying that the mother or the female is the leader of the household, which matriarchal is saying the same thing, but with matriarchal, it is saying that the mother is the dominant member of the household, which matrifocal is not saying that she is the head as in she is dominant, because that would be the father. I don't know if you guys understand.
Yeah, we should get that. So as she's saying, matrifocal and matriarchal speaks to the mother being of utmost importance, right? Being somewhat a head figure within the family. But matriarchal is the mother playing an active role in leadership, where so in matrifocal, technically not really, right? So we're looking at the active versus the passive. understanding of the familial societies, right? Or familial structure, I must say. So matrifocal would be the answer here, not matriarchal. Alright, so we have that there. A common feature of Caribbean society is ethnic diversity. Which of the following is a reason for this diversity?
Slavery. Sir, A.
I'll be as in boy for this one.
I because
like post emancipation though.
A slavery, it's an answer, man.
Is slavery?
Wait, what?
So like indentureship and stuff like that.
Mako connect it, right? So
yeah, wasn't it?
But wouldn't slavery be one of the first well, not the first, but one of the first instances of ethnic diversity? Remember, Africans aren't from the Caribbean.
Let's connect it though, right? We have the indigenous people, right? Most of which we are not, right? So we have the indigenous persons, right? Then the Europeans came, right? That was diverse enough. Then the slavery came into concept, right? So slavery brought one type of people and one type of people generally only, right? While indentureship, which is post-emancipation, right, would have brought multiple other cultures, which gave more diversity than slavery. But the issue here, or the thing here, is that slavery was the cause of indentureship. Right? The end of slavery was the cause of indentureship, right? So that's why some persons may put slavery as the best answer here, because the slavery which ended that causes indentureship, right? So I think that would be the best answer here. Post-emancipation specifically, right, won't be a feature generally. It's a time period it's describing. It's not really describing a feature of Caribbean society, right? So I would think that slavery is one of the major things that would have caused indentureship. Because slavery was the reason why after emancipation, the freed blacks never went back. And as a way to promote or to keep steady populations on the plantations, the plantation owners said, hey, right, China is going through a rough time period. Indians are killing themselves. So might as well we take these people and flood them with false hope and opportunity and bring them to our plantations to institute a new kind of slavery, which is indentureship. Right? So that's basically what happened. So I think that slavery will be the best answer here.
Yes, sir.
Right. 14. Which of the following practices did indigenous people contribute to Caribbean culinary traditions?
1 and 2.
Why not salted codfish?
Sir, that is an African thing.
Alright, 1 and 2. Have that there. Which of the following types was introduced? Well, family types was introduced into Caribbean by East Indians.
Extended.
What's another name for this?
Joint household.
Wonderful. Number 16. Which of the following? Oh, we saw this earlier, right? Life expectancy. Sustainable tourism, we saw this earlier, right? D would be the best answer here. Alright, which of the following factors promote sustainable development?
Sir, C?
Proper use of resources. Alright. Determine, okay, we saw this already. You see these repeats? Alright. I would love them to come. Was it tomorrow? Tomorrow's exam, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's so cool. My exam them not done until early July, but okay. Okay, so the country's Gini index can best be described as the measure of income.
Yes.
Inequality. Alright, which of the following factors is considered a challenge to development in the Caribbean? We said cultural imperialism, right?
Yes, sir.
Imperialisme cultural. Alright, 22. Which of the following factors best influenced the recent spread of globalization?
Sir, technology?
The recent, yep. ICTs, right? Or remember them. What does ICT stand for?
Information communication technologies.
Wonderful. Which of the following was not an aim of the West Indies Federation?
Sir, A.
Alright. Because that would be weird though. Because if it was Britain who assisted the institution of the West Indies Federation, why would Britain influence her colonies to demand reparation? That doesn't make sense. So A would be the best answer. Alright, so 24. Which of the following is a challenge to the full implementation of the CSME?
Sir, we had C for this.
Yeah, I think we had C for this. You see, I'm getting a little bit. Alright. I don't know, it's getting a bit iffy. Why, as I go through papers, it gets a bit more iffy each time. Dependency ratio, we saw this already. We saw it to be D. I mean, if we did it already, I did say that we're not gonna discuss anything. We're just gonna put answers, right, that we placed before. Unless you guys want to rediscuss it. And that means I'm gonna have to go through the ones I did already. Dr. Jones was asked to present a research paper on the development strategy in which foreign investors, right, are encouraged by incentives to set up manufacturing industries in the Caribbean. Whose work would he most likely consult for this information?
Sir Arthur Lewis.
Arthur Lewis.
Why not Eric Williams?
Sir Eric Williams talks about the decline thesis. So
Wonderful.
He talks about how Europe benefited from the Caribbean.
From ending slavery, wonderful. Arthur Lewis.
Yes, sir. And also for Walter Rodney,
Mm-hmm.
he also speaks on how Europe underdeveloped Africa.
Beautiful. Oh my God. You read that book? You read that book?
Sir, not all of it, sir.
You have to at least read a piece of it. You just get new perspectives, right? Right? And if you did history as well, you have to look at the African influence within the Caribbean before Europeans, right? By, Van Sertima. Alright. So 28. Which of the following results from globalization?
Sir D.
Alright. This is a repeat, but it just rephrased differently. 29. Which of the following economic factors affects a country's development?
Sir, I think this was all of them.
You see, because we didn't put all of them here because I'm saying that this GDP is an indicator and not a factor.
Sir, I don't know,
Okay. No, it's fine if you guys want to give another argument why it would be D, because it just has to convince everyone that D is the answer. But what I'm saying here is that a country's development, right, can be indicated by the GNP and the GDP of the country, right? Specifically, right? We're looking at the products or the output, right, of the country, whether it be on a national level or a domestic level. That's what GDP and GNP stands for, right? So that would tell whether or not a country is economically developed or how economically developed it is. So because it's an indicator of the country's development and not necessarily a factor that affects the country's development, that's why I didn't put 1 as an answer. That's my entire reason why. There's nothing more to my reason. Do you guys disagree with that? And if you disagree, tell me why. And go ahead. Am I missing that?
Sir, the only reason why I said the GDP was because it said economic factors, if I'm being honest.
Okay. I get that. Go ahead, Trish.
Sir, don't you feel like that's a bit of a stretch, though?
It's a stretch?
Sir, I feel like it's a stretch.
It's because the syllabus, creates a dichotomy between indicators and factors. That's why I did it. So doesn't your syllabus ask you to discuss the indicators of development and factors that influence development. So that's why I made the decision to distinguish it in indicators and factors based on what the syllabus does with the topic as well. So that's what I did. It does seem like a huge stretch, by the way, but it's because it's an indicator, not a factor. But I guess what is, I guess, we're just going to include everything that makes sense to some extent, but I personally wouldn't agree with that, and it's because I am not God. All right, you don't have to agree with me. Matthew, saying something? Okay, you just have your mic on, I guess. Let me just use. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Number 28 question, please.
Number 28. Okay, let's look at that then, and then go. The following outcomes results from globalization.
Alright, thanks.
Alright. For 29, that's why I put that, you know. If it is D, please let me know why D. Because Rich was saying it's a stretch, so I guess so. But that's my answer though. I'm not sure what anything else. Number 30, individuals who are refused employment because they live in a low income community, right, are discriminated against based on
class, sir.
Class, you sure?
Class.
Sir, what do you think it is if it's not class?
Why wouldn't it be class?
No, but it's
exactly.
ask if it's sure. Alright, so you're saying that if you weren't on a meeting and you were by yourself, you would put class?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I let Duran in a while ago, you know. I'm not sure what happened. 31. Which of the following objectives would not be a purpose of, well, for conducting research?
Sir, D.
It would, okay, it can be a purpose, to be very honest, right? But it's not like an ethical purpose, you get me? So it's not really ruled under like what research should be done for. So no. The research process is systematic because it works.
Sir, C.
It is structured so that it can be replicated. Wonderful. Right, 33 researchers interested in the consistency of the research results are concerned with
Sir, B.
reliability, because we did look at a question before and it spoke about consistency, right? About results being the same. So it's consistency or similar actually. Right, 34. Which of the following is not a characteristic of the research process?
Conformability.
Conformability. 35. A researcher uses similar methods to those used in a previous experiment and compares the results. What aspects of research does this approach best illustrate?
Sir, replication.
Wonderful. All right, moving upwards. All right, so let's see this. Websites. Okay, we looked at this already, right? This is a repeat. This is universities and government. Oh, this is different. Government agency. Yeah, this is C. Which are the following characteristics of are characteristics of good research questions? Should it be specific or broad?
Sir, specific.
So you like your research questions specific and clear?
Yes, sir.
Why not broad?
Sir, because it's going to encompass a lot of variables that you don't really need. It's going to take forever if you have a lot of variables.
Okay, so that's why you prefer a research question that is okay, specific and clear. All right, so we have that there. All right, listen clear on. Okay, moving on. 30. For which of the following types of research hypotheses, right, does the research state that no relationships exist between the given variables in the research?
A.
Null hypothesis, chi-square test for those biology students. 39. Which of the following is important to clarify a research? Well, why is it important, to clarify a research problem in the initial stage of the process?
Sir, we had C for this one?
We did have C. And it was a contentious issue. For that.
We were stuck between C and D.
D, yeah, we're stuck between C and. I mean, like, maybe the answer, I guess. 40. Which of the following statements satisfy the criteria for the A hypothesis? I didn't hear the answer. It was muffled.
Sir, C?
C? The residents of... You sure?
You hear me?
No,
C.
no,
I
sir.
say
I
dog.
am not sure, sir. I am not. I
Dog.
just answered.
Okay. Clear on what you're saying? You said D as in dog? Alright, this is fine.
Yes, sir. D makes sense.
These clearly stated, right? It is specific and it's not asking a question, right? It's giving a prediction. It's telling you what the issue is. And then within our research, we prove whether or not our hypothesis was right. 41. Which of the following resources is likely to provide primary data? We looked at the Hansard report. The collecting data. In collecting data for her research, Michelle organizes a discussion for selected students from her school to get their opinions. What collection method is she using?
Sir, focus group.
Okay, everybody else? What do you guys say?
Yes, B.
Yes, sir. Focus group.
Here, no. 43. Which of the following features is of least importance when you're finding a research problem?
Sir, the sample size. Okay, sorry.
I say C.
E2.
Okay, somebody said. Alright. I heard somebody say, like, sorry, I don't know. Like, you guys can't apologize for something. That does make sense. So you're saying that C for sure? You sure? Why C?
Sir, what? Depending on, I don't think the sample size has any. Well, it plays a role, yes, sir, but I don't think there's an issue whether you have a lot of persons or not in conducting a research.
It depends on what the research is.
Yeah, but the keyword is least, and I heard somebody say B, but feasibility refers to viability, whether it's valid or not. So that wouldn't be the least important one, because the information has to be valid or viable.
Alright, so I get what you're saying, you know. Alright, what you're saying is right, but valid and viability are different things per se. Like, you make the right
That's why I said
connections, but they're different. Yeah, So the feasibility is whether or not you can even carry out the experiment. So I think that's important. Relevance, I think that's important as well. Because if you're carrying out something that is irrelevant, why bother? And the availability of information per se would be important as well to develop your literature review, right? And you could even look at it in the context of availability of information within society. Does the general population know this information? Can we conduct research and get meaningful primary data? Right? So we're looking at that as well. So I think the sample size would be least impactful. Right? 44. Generalizing of research findings to the population is most likely to be justifiable when?
A.
Why A?
I mean, just randomly select everybody from the population, and you can make a general. Because you might get everyone from like every single group, I guess.
When can we generalize? I'm looking for specific terms. When the sample
is a large sample.
I'm looking for an R word. It's beginning with R. The sample has to be what?
Random.
Representative.
Oh,
not random, but randomness can give us some amount of representative. So it must be representative. Go ahead.
What is cluster sampling?
Cluster sampling, per se,
when I group it up in a group, And I feel like C kind of make a little bit more sense than A in some. I think about it in some.
Okay, so cluster sampling is used in a large heterogeneous population. I mean, okay, so it's using a large heterogeneous population. I think that's fine, right? It is fine, but I think that the most likely one would probably be A because populations are usually homogeneous to some standpoint. Heterogeneous populations probably speak to things like probably, I don't know, caste systems, plantocracies. Like the population is not homogeneous. Like they're separated. There's like stratification between persons in the population. But I think that A would be the best because even if you use a large random sample, you will get persons from two different sides of the population if it is heterogeneous. So I think that A would be good as well because C can't be really used for homogeneous, right? If you're looking at the population like that, but A can be used for both. If you get what I'm saying. So I think that would be most likely. And then this is anonymity, right? So we did this already. So that's that, people. All right.